Good job today, man. It's one at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
What's up, everybody? Let's talk Jets. Tyson Roush with Zack Rosenblatt. A first time on the show with you. This is awesome, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
From The Athletic, obviously. And, dude, thank you for your time. I know you're kind of like probably prepping for training camp, and it's probably your last few moments of like just being relaxed and calm before the chaos, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's an earlier training camp for the Jets than usual, too. So it's a week earlier than usual. But yeah, it's been nice to relax. But I am excited to get back and start observing some practice for sure.
Now, when you first started covering the Jets, what were your expectations, man? Because they were a team that's kind of always like the blunt of all the jokes, a lot of negativity surrounding with the fans, the media. What were your expectations as you took on this endeavor?
Yeah, I mean, last year you saw a team with a lot of young talent, but a lot of questions. Zach Wilson questioned whether they could be, take the next step. I think the expectation was that it would be like a year where they start showing signs, and then this year would have been the year they could have been a playoff contender, and that is kind of how it played out. It's just like in Jets fashion, it played out in a way that they gave you hope in the beginning, and then they ripped it out from under you. Like I think when they started, whatever 6-3 or when they were 5-2, whatever it was, I was convinced they were going to make the playoffs or whatever it was, and a lot of the Jets media kind of laughed at me as they started, losing games and bad things were happening, and they're like, "Welcome to the Jets, Pete." I heard that from a lot of different people, so it was very like, you learn a lot about what it's like covering and following this team for sure pretty quickly.
And what has it been like dealing with the fan base, man? Because Jet fans are passionate, we're crazy, and when things start going south, we're off the rails. Like, how's it been dealing with Jet fans?
Yeah, it's fun. They're very passionate, which is good for business, as I always say. So, I always reference this when people ask me that. Like I think the day I announced I was covering the Jets, like a bunch, like a handful of Jets fans dug into my old tweets and found tweets where I like made fun of the Jets, and we're like, "Oh, we got another one." That's when I knew I had to watch what I say with this bunch. But yeah, it's been fun. They're fun to interact with. There's some trolls in the bunch, but there are some trolls in every fan base, and I think generally I really enjoy interacting with this group. They're fun and they're passionate, and it's been a lot of fun the last year.
Yeah, and it's a big year this year with Aaron Rodgers in the mix and everything else. But I think one of the biggest storylines going into camp, I think, for Jet fans is what's going on with Quinnen Williams, man? Because right now he's, on schedule to be, holding out if he doesn't get his new contract. Do you think a deal gets done within the next week or so?
I don't necessarily think it'll get done in the next week. I don't get the impression he'll hold out. I think that would be somewhat surprising, but it would make a statement, obviously. And yeah, I just don't think there's been anything bad. I don't think there's really been any progress in either direction because they're both kind of standing their ground, both sides of the negotiation. And I don't think the Jets feel like they're in a rush to do anything. And that's why maybe something hasn't happened yet. I think both sides would like something to get done, but Quinnen has something that he wants on his side and the Jets have something they want from the contract. I think they're pretty close, but they're no closer than they've been a month or two ago.
Yeah, to me, it's surprising, especially with everybody else done, like Dexter Lawrence has done, all these big contracts are done. It seems like the parameters for a contract are there. Is it the years? Is it maybe that maybe he wants only 4 years and they want to do 5, something like that? Or what do you think it is?
Yeah. I would say it's more length than money. I think, I think the Quinnen side maybe wants, what all those other defensive tackles have been getting, which is the 4-year deal worth whatever, $90 million and however much guaranteed. And I think the Jet side, he wants to they don't need to give him the contract now. So they feel like they deserve something out of this deal. And that's an extra year at the end of it where they're able to spread out the cap hit a little more kind of thing. And I don't think both sides want what the other side wants. And the Jets kind of have the power here because they hold his control.
Yeah.
And they can franchise tag him and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. You ideally don't want your best player, at least Quinnen was at least their best player last year. You don't want your best player mad at you, certainly, especially going into a season that's so important. You don't want to, break that locker room chemistry. And I think Quinnen will be a good soldier, but at the same time, he's clearly not. He said at the end of last season he wanted his contract before OTAs, and we're sitting here in training camps a week away, and it hasn't happened yet. So he's not happy.
Yeah, I'm hoping it gets done, man. It's like an unnecessary distraction. It's a guy, he's an anchor for the team. He's done all the right things, said all the right things. He's getting praised endlessly by Salah, which is good. So I guess the other storyline going to training camp, to me, the biggest concern is the offensive line, where Dwayne Brown's coming off injury. Laken Tomlinson had a subpar year. You can have a new center, AVT coming off injury, and then you had the whole Mekhi Becton thing. Not really sure where he's going to be after 2 years. Looks like he's in great shape, but what are your thoughts on the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it's the biggest question they have. I think they feel good about it, and that's why you didn't see them go and make any like huge additions. I think they felt they had a lot of bad luck last year with injuries, which is hard to argue. I think they had something like 6 or 7 guys, if you count Mekhi Becton, who were starting offensive tackles going injured reserve at various points like that. That's hard to sustain. Dwayne Brown was playing with a torn rotator cuff. George Fant was in and out of the lineup. AVT was looking like a stud before he got hurt. So I think they think they have the pieces, but how that looks, I don't even think they know that yet. Dwayne Brown, I know they said this competition. I view it as his job to lose. And I think the way he would lose it would be he's not healthy enough to go. I view him as left tackle, no matter what Mekhi Becton wants. I just don't think they'd move him. They love and respect Dwayne in a way, and they talk about him in a way that you don't talk about, a guy that you're just going to bench or move to a position he's never played. So I think the more interesting thing will be what happens at right tackle, because number one, are you going to be giving Mekhi reps at left tackle in camp? And if that's the case, is he going to be ready to play right tackle? Is he in that competition? If he's in that competition, is he going to hold off Billy Turner, Max Mitchell, who both have something to bring to the table? And then at center, it was interesting that they were able to bring back Connor McGovern at such a cheap price, because now you have 2 pretty good options at center. So I think, I think they can be a solid offensive line if everybody's healthy. You figure out who that right tackle is, get Dwayne Brown healthy. I think they're in pretty good shape, but they had a lot of bad luck last year. If they have it again, they're going to be in trouble for sure.
And I think one of the things with that offensive line is you want to be able to run the football this year. Now you have Breece Hall coming off injury, and it seems like every day Dalvin Cook's tweeting out something or trying to tag the Jets or tagging a Jet fan, whatever else. Do you think the Jets have legitimate interest in Dalvin Cook, and would they go to that $6 million per year to even try to land him?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the definition of legitimate interest. I think they are interested in him, but I don't think they're interested at whatever price he's asking for right now. And I feel like $6 million might be a little bit above what they're willing to pay, unless a structure in a way that was incentive based or something. That's just me guessing. And that's not a report or anything, but yeah, I think there's interest. I think Dalvin is kind of holding out hope that he can get more money from somebody, whether it's the Dolphins or going back to the Vikings or the Jets or whoever else is lurking out there that needs him, or he waits for somebody to get hurt and then a team gets desperate kind of thing. It doesn't seem like he's in a rush. And the Jets are kind of moving forward with who they have in the backfield right now. And, I don't think Breece Hall will be a full go at the start of camp at the very least. So you'll see a lot of Izzy Abanikanda. You'll see a lot of Michael Carter, Bam Knight. There's some other free agent options out there. But yeah, I think right now they're going to roll with who they have. And if Cook's price comes down, then maybe they add him. And
another free agent everybody's talking about, I'm sure they tag you as well, is Quan Alexander, who played very well last year and at a 1-year deal, very affordable. Even if you gave him a little bit of a raise, it's not going to be a lot considering the cap space the Jets have. Is that somebody that, he interviewed with the Steelers, he met with them. Is that a guy that could still be in the mix, you think? He's just kind of waiting until the last minute to see if any a larger offer comes in?
Yeah, I think as long as he's still available, he's an option just because he knows the defense. He's, valued in the locker room. But at the same time, they've had the ability to sign him this whole time. And so either he's asking for more money than they're willing to give, or they just don't have as much interest in bringing him back, or they're just waiting for something, some other shoe to drop or something like that. But if they plan on bringing him back, it's kind of weird that they wouldn't have by now. Maybe they want to see what they have in Sherwood and Hamza and Zaire Barnes first. But, I think it makes a lot of sense to bring him back if it's at the right price. But if he's asking for more than, the veterans minimum, then maybe they're not really that interested in bringing him back.
And what are your thoughts on the safety position, where the loss of Chuck Clark I thought was huge, man? So early, he's out for the year. I guess the Jets have a lot of faith in Tony Adams because they have Amos, they have Whitehead, but it seems like they still need that rangy safety that can kind of run around, be kind of a ball hawk kind of guy.
Yeah. I think the Chuck Clark thing threw them for a loop a little bit, but they were able to react pretty quickly. I think Adrian Amos is probably at least as good as Chuck Clark, maybe a little bit different players, but I know Amos is on the decline, but if he's healthy, I think he can be a solid safety. And I think you saw last year in this defense, you don't need amazing safeties on the back end. That they were good in spite of, the lack of production and some of the mistakes that Whitehead and Joyner made last year. But yeah, I think Tony Adams is a guy they like. They liked what they saw from him last year. They maybe think he can take on that third safety role. There's still Ashton Davis in there. He's more of a special teams guy at this point. They drafted Jarek Bernard-Converse. I'm not exactly sure where they plan on playing him, but they have him listed at safety though. And they like his ability to kind of play multiple positions. So maybe there's something there. And Trey Dean, the undrafted safety from Florida, if he has a good camp, maybe he's the next Tony Adams too. So yeah, I mean, it's not inspiring depth. If any of those top two guys get hurt from this point on, then you're probably in a little bit of trouble, but this is who they're rolling with. And safety is a position. There's still a lot of free agents there. So if they needed to add another veteran on the cheap at some point, they could still do that. But they might want to see what they have in Tony Adams in the preseason at the least.
And the other spot on the defense, everybody's talking about the pass rush. They're excited about that, but they lose Rankins. They go out and sign Al Woods. What are your thoughts on the Jets' run defense? Is that any kind of concern for you as they go in the camp, or do you think they'll be stout enough with Quinnen, John Franklin Myers, and everybody else there?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. Sheldon Rankins, I think, was underrated in a lot of ways because he didn't put up stats necessarily, but he was just a solid player, veteran. Nathan Shepard had the best season of his career. He's a guy that was kind of maligned by a lot of fans for a while, but I think he was a solid run stopper last year. So you lost two guys that are good run stoppers. Al Woods is still a good run stopper at this stage, but he is getting older, so he can only play so much. Quentin Jefferson's not really as much of a run stopper, and Solomon Thomas is kind of just a rotational guy. So it is fair to wonder, but I like you alluded to it. I think they will play JFM inside more. I think they'll play Michael Clemens inside more. Whether that helps them in the run game more or the pass game more, I think that's up for debate. But that's I would say on defense that would probably be the biggest question outside of depth at safety, probably.
So do you think from Jet fans, their perspective is this should still be a top 10 defense because they should be playing with leads. They could be a lot more aggressive. They have pass rushers, they have swarms of them at this point, especially McDonald. Do you think that's a fair expectation? Say, no, this can be a top 10 defense, maybe top 8?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the expectation, and it's a necessity. This is what they've kind of planned for. They pretty much brought everybody back outside of Quan Alexander and LaMarcus Joyner. It was kind of we're going to bring everybody back and add a few people. They didn't bring back Sheldon Rankins either, like we just mentioned. But, they filled out the spots that they felt like they didn't necessarily need. They felt like they could survive by losing Sheldon Rankins. They felt like they could survive by, not bringing back Quan, and they can replace them with who they have or guys they added, and they added more pass rushers. And they're going on the assumption, and they've said this publicly, that they're going to be playing with a lot of leads. And if you're playing with a lot of leads, that means the other team's going to be passing the ball a lot. And so that's why they felt the need to draft an edge rusher in the first round, which got a lot of criticism. You saw Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson in his second year, Michael Clemens in his second year. They're loaded at defensive end. They loaded on pass rusher. So I definitely think that's a good expectation. I think that the key for them, maintaining what they were last year and improving would be forcing turnovers, which was an issue, especially at the end of last year. Sauce has talked about how he needs to get more interceptions. As a defense, they need to force more, especially in when they're playing these big games late in the season, the playoffs, whatever it is. They need to show that they can force turnovers. So that'll be the main thing I have my eye on in terms of whether they get better or not.
Yeah, 100%. And then the final piece of the puzzle, which is an amazing piece because as a Jet fan, I'm still in shock. And that's Aaron Rodgers as a Jet quarterback, which is just mind-blowing at this point. So what is it like for you, man? Kind of you're watching this Jets, you're going from Zach Wilson, Mike White. Here comes Aaron Rodgers. That's who you're covering. And just the excitement, the energy, all that. That's got to be awesome for you, right?
Yeah, it's cool. There's more attention on the Jets than there's been since as long as I can remember. He's one of the most famous athletes in the world. It's not even an exaggeration. People, he's the level of famous that people who don't follow sports know who he is, kind of thing. And that's right. Just a different level of attention, hype, and beyond the fame. He's arguably the most talented quarterback to ever play. I think you can debate whatever you want, but I think he's one of the 2 or 3 most talented quarterbacks to ever play the sport. So He still has that throwing ability, whether he's not as mobile anymore or whatever. You can argue if he's not as good as he was 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. He's still at his best a top 10 quarterback, and the Jets haven't had a quarterback of that caliber in a long time. And the whole thing last year was if they even just had average quarterback play, they would have been in the playoffs. Yep. And they went and got somebody who has the potential to be way better than average. So it's exciting. It's much better to cover a winning team than a losing team. A lot of times fans think we like the media when we cover a team that's losing. It seems like we're just being negative and we want them to lose. It's quite the opposite. Business is better when we're winning. People are reading our stuff. People are subscribing. People listening to the podcast. Like it's better for everybody when the team's winning. So the possibility of them being good this year is fun for sure.
Now, do you sense a different energy in the building with him there now, where it's like the players, the excitement? Can you just sense it there, being around, like talking to some of the guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's the main thing everybody talked about the entire OTAs was how everybody comes to work with a smile on their face. And I think everybody's been a little bit surprised about how involved and excited Aaron Rodgers has been, how like all in he's been to be there. You know, he's popping into other position meetings. He's pulling guys aside, you know, bottom of the roster guys. He's shouting out undrafted receivers in press conferences. Like he's really embraced it. You know, it's the honeymoon period. We'll see, you know, as the season gets along, if they have a couple losses, like, is he still, you know, everybody's buddy? But, and there's no reason to think he won't be, but we just don't know. He's 39, you know, towards the end of his career. But yeah, there's definitely a different energy in the building and different energy among the coaching staff and all of that. And yeah, it's a reason why everybody's talking Super Bowl with this team.
Yeah, they are. And I guess the last piece of the puzzle is Coach Sala, who's going into a veer that he's on the not on the hot seat, but there's gonna be a lot of pressure on him too, because now you have a team that the fans expect 10, 11 wins, make a run to the AFC East. We're talking playoffs, championship game, all this stuff. You have Aaron Rodgers, you have the big personality that is Aaron Rodgers. How much pressure is on Sala to handle all these expectations to keep his team kind of like grounded?
Yeah, I mean, that's his biggest job this year. You know, he's the CEO of his team. He did a good job of, you know, maintaining that locker room last year when it could have blown up at various points with all the Zack Wilson stuff and, you know, two guys demanding trades and Quinnen Williams blowing up at the defensive line coach and, you know, whatever fires he had to put out that didn't make it to the public eye. Like he did a really good job last year, but now they have a target on their back, which they didn't last year. They're going to be playing as many primetime games as anybody. They're going to be playing in the 4:00 window more than the 1 p.m. window. Like everybody has their eyes on them. And he's the head coach of that. And if it doesn't work out, he's going to get the responsibility. So he knows what the pressure is. And, you know, he has to, his number one job more than anything is keeping that locker room together. And by all accounts, he's really good at that. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So what would be your biggest storyline heading into training camp for the Jets?
I mean, it's going to be, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the number one story no matter what. You know, since that's the obvious one, I guess I'll say Zack Wilson just because, you know, training camp in the preseason is going to be such a big thing for him. We're going to see really how much, if any, progress he's made, if he's learned from last year, if he's learned from being around Aaron. The preseason in particular, because he's going to get a lot of reps, I would imagine. I don't see why they wouldn't give him all the reps. I don't know about the Hall of Fame game, but like that, I'm very curious to see how he looks out there, even more than practice, because practices, even in training camp now, are not as much contact. There's not as much. You know, he can't get hit in practice no matter what. So, you know, we're obviously going to observe him in practice, see where he's made progress. But when we get to the games, like, how is he going to handle it? His confidence was shot at the end of the year. He really didn't even believe in his throws and he was making them. And I'm curious to see how much, you know, this time away and kind of being out of the spotlight has helped him or hurt him.
Do you think there's a situation where the Jets could go out and get a veteran quarterback, or do they have a lot of, you know, comfort with Boyle?
I think they're comfortable with this group they have. You know, if something disastrous happened in the preseason, whether it's an injury or, you know, Zack Wilson being worse or being as bad as he was in last year, then maybe they reconsider that. But I don't see them going to get another quarterback right now.
And then I guess my last question for you is, as you probably see all over social media, the Jet fans are thinking big things. We're thinking, you know, 11 wins, make a run to the AFC East. Is that like a realistic expectation for this team with all the talent they have? Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Quinnen, all the things we just talked about. Is that a fair to expect that at least that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not only expectation; it's kind of like not a requirement, but like they're all in on this year, and they've publicly, like Robert Saleh said, he thinks the Jets are one of the 8 teams that can win, one of the 6 to 8 teams that can win a Super Bowl, which a coach doesn't say unless they believe it. And everybody in the building knows, like, even just making the playoffs is not enough. If they make it and they get knocked out in the first round, I think people are going to be pretty upset considering all they give up for Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's the expectation. You know, it's hard to win a Super Bowl, so I resist like saying it's Super Bowl or bust because I don't really believe that personally. Right. But I do think that the expectation is contend for a Super Bowl. And, you know, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. But if they're in the mix, then I think that'll be a success.
No, I agree. Well, Zack, I know you're a really busy man. You got training camp a week away, so you got lots of stuff. So I really appreciate your time. For those of you that can't find you on social media, which is crazy, I think everybody knows you by now. How can people catch you at The Athletic?
Yeah, you can go to the Athletic site, the Jets page. If I think we have a deal subscribing right now. It's something like $1.99 a month or something like that. I think I'm not 100% on that, but either way, yeah, you find my stuff on there. I have podcasts, can't wait. I'm on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, all that good stuff. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Look forward to all your coverage coming up for the season.
all right, man, have a good one.
You too. Take care. All right. If anybody wants to jump on and talk some Jets, we can do that. If not, we can wrap this up. I just wanted to get Zach's thoughts real quick to see what they were thinking, what he's thinking. Answer some of your questions real quick too, because I didn't do any of that. What's up? We have a special guest for Monday night coming up too, so stay tuned for that. What's up, Snoopy? Would love to be covering the Jets in the building. Good luck getting press credentials for that, man. Let's see what we got here. Zach, what will the Jets do? A quarterback this season? Will Tim Boyle take the starting job from Wilson? That'd be interesting. If that happened for Zach Wilson, man, what a disaster that would be. Would you sign Chuck Clark to an extension even after injury? I don't think so, man. What kind of extension? You could probably get him for like a minimum at this point. What's up, Carlos? How you doing, man? Let's see. You listen to some cool music, by the way. Plus, you love the Jets. I guess that's Kill Switch Engage behind me and Shinedown. Like that. That's awesome. What's up, Elmo? How you doing, man? Leonard Fournette was a rookie when he played for Hackett. I've wanted Leonard Fournette for about a month and a half now, man. So I'm down for that. I have not gotten Metallica tickets yet. I have to, though, but I want to go Friday and Sunday. I want to do both days, man. That's kind of what I'm at. I think my friends all want to go on Sunday because of Five Finger Death Punch. Let's see what we got here. What's your thoughts on ChatGPT ranking the Jets fan base the 30th most passionate fan base? That's ridiculous, man, because there's no way. The Jet fan, we haven't made a playoffs in 12 years, dude, or was it 11, 12 years? And the Jet fans travel well, man. Like, they're always traveling. They're passionate. That ranking is ridiculous. The Jet fans, it may not be a large fan base. It's a loyal fan base. If you're going both days, man, I will hit you up we'll tailgate, man. I can't wait for that. All right, we have a very special guest coming on here. We got Jeff and Buttercup. What's up, Buttercup?
Hello. What's up, Tyson? How you doing, buddy?
Dude, good. How you doing, man?
Good. Well, it's like 90 in LA today, so it's kind of miserable. And it's going to be 107 on Saturday.
Dude, in Jersey last week, it was like 95 and 100% humidity for like 3 days. It was brutal out here.
I'm glad I didn't come home for the 4th.
So what are you thinking, man? We're like, a week away from training camp, man. Are you excited?
Yeah, and I texted or messaged you about Hard Knocks. And all these people, it's just been clickbait for like 2 months. There will be no Hard Knocks right now because of the writer's strike.
Yep.
And no one wants to admit it. Finally, I think Joe Caparoso tweeted that on Saturday morning. And I was like, I've been saying this for 2 months. It's 71 days into the writer's strike. Maybe because I live out here, we notice it more. Yeah. But it's like there's nothing going on. And we're about 7 hours away from the actors going on strike.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, that's at midnight tonight.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, Ari Emanuel, who was the bassist for Ari on Entourage, he's like the mega agent. And his brother was Obama's guy, who then was the mayor of Chicago. And he just stepped in to try and end it. But who knows what's going to happen. So
now you figure they're so far behind the 8 ball too. With training camp a week away, you have to get your cameras, you get your scripts, get everything lined up. That's good.
Yeah, well, and it's Liev Schreiber. He's an actor. He wouldn't be able to narrate it. The writers can't write the narration. So unless they just film it and hope it ends, I think the kind of thinking is a lot of these writer, producer, actors have really big deals with Amazon, Netflix, Disney, whoever. And after 90 days, the studios can cancel all those deals.
Really?
So, yeah. They force majeure, force of God.
Yeah.
So we're 71 days into it. So it's really possible that in, day 90, 91, they just go, okay, all those deals are canceled. Here's the new deal. That's crazy. The Phoebe Waller-Bridgers, who's in the new Indiana Jones. She's the female lead.
Right.
She did a show called Fleabag. It was a huge hit for Amazon. They gave her $20 million a year. For 3 years, she's done nothing for them. So it's deals like that where it's like, what are we paying for this? Yeah. So I think, but it's just been driving me crazy that like I want to be like, sports writers, talk to your entertainment writer friends. This is
I threw it out there a couple times to like Pro Football Talk and stuff, and he didn't say anything. I was like, all right, maybe it's got to be something, because like by now HBO will be promoting the hell out of it. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, it'd be all over the place. It's
just been clickbait, so it's been driving me crazy. My girlfriend's a talent agent, so I hear it every day. Like she doesn't know what's going to happen. She put 3 people on shows right before the writers' strike, and now she's like, are these even gonna, are they gonna finish shooting? Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, so now in terms of the Jets, man, I wouldn't mind them not being on Hard Knocks. That's less cameras in the building, less distractions. It wouldn't bother me a bit.
I think it would be great. I think it would be. Look, I wouldn't mind it if it happens. Like, hey, if everything gets settled tomorrow and they could do it, cool.
Yep.
I think they would be fine, because I watched the One Jet Drive show, whatever it's called, and it's great. So, like, I don't think it's a problem for them.
Well, now, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback of the Jets and these huge expectations this year?
Can I go back to something he had Steve on like a week or 2 ago, and he asked how he became a Jets fan.
Okay, let's go there.
Can I tell? I know my mom lives in Toms River now, but I grew up in North Jersey.
Okay.
So when I was in 5th grade, 1990, we're on the school bus, and Lawrence Taylor lived like 2 towns away from us, or 1 town away.
Right.
He's behind us on like a side street, and we held up signs. Each of us had a piece of paper. Can we get your autograph?
Right.
He gives us the thumbs up. Right. The bus driver goes, okay, make it quick. We all run off to go up to Lawrence Taylor. He just went around us. And that was the day I became a Jets fan.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah. It was like, F you, LT.
Did he really do that?
Yeah. He like drove around like 10 kids standing there with, with their notebooks out.
No way.
Yeah.
LT's a character, man. Like he's always around now doing like all kinds of autograph signings and bars and stuff. Times are just a little difficult for him, but it's just his career path is so unfortunate with all the things he had with off the field.
Do you remember, like, he had that bar like by the stadium? Like, we were both man. Like, teens or whatever. And I just remember my dad's being like, oh, LT's place got shut down or something. And
it's a shame.
All that news. So expectations are through the roof. Right. My brother lives in Florida. He bought season tickets. Like, he's just planning to like fly up pretty much every weekend, and
that's awesome.
I'm probably going to come home for Thanksgiving. So I want to go to the Friday game. Which would be wild. It was a 3:00 game on a Friday. What can go wrong with that? Especially with the mall right next to it now.
It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a complete disaster.
That mall, I remember we were home for Christmas and my brother went to the ski slope and it took like 3 hours to get out of the parking lot at like 9 at night. How are you going to do that with Black Friday and a football game?
Makes those. Now, when you say big expectations, you're saying win the AFC East, or you're saying 11 games? Like, how many?
I don't see a reason why they couldn't win the AFC East. They beat the Bills once last year. If the backup QB didn't break 3 ribs, they would have won that game.
Yeah, Mike White.
Like, it's a solid team, and you put Aaron Rodgers on it. Like, why shouldn't our expectations be the best in 10, 15 years?
Yeah, and sweep the Patriots. You sweep the Patriots, split with the Dolphins, split with the Bills. I mean, you should be right in the mix. I think they should be. I think it's 11 wins, man. Like, I'm all about this. Anything less than that, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, I don't want to say yet. I'll message you, but I have some crazy expectations, but I don't want to say it on camera.
Now, do you think a deal gets done with Quinn Williams before camp? Because we just talked to Zach just now. He didn't seem like it was. He didn't seem too confident.
I saw that, but I did like. Didn't he say that he thinks he'll show up even if it's not done?
And I would. That's the interesting thing, because if you're really trying to play hardball in terms of a contract, you don't show up to training camp. You hold out.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why it's not done yet. It seems like the market is pretty much set. Similar players have been signed to big deals. I don't get it.
Especially because as of right now, Quinn Williams hasn't lost any money because OTAs didn't happen. So this will be the first time where you can actually push the Jets a little bit and say, okay, listen, I'm not coming. That's the first time where there's a legitimate deadline now.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy, and maybe him showing up will be the confidence boost, what they want.
It's a business, man. That's definitely
I get it.
Now, what are your thoughts on Dalvin Cook, man? Because it's interesting. Like, we talk about it with different fans. I'm all about it. Like $6 million, I do it. I don't really care about that.
Why not? What do they have? Like 23 million, they're saying, and like It's weird also that the Rodgers deal hasn't really been announced, like what the breakdown is.
Yep.
So, but I agree with you. It seems like let's just go all in this year. If you can get Cook, if you can get another receiver, just do it.
No, 100%, man. Like, I just think it's an upgrade. Like it's not like Cook is not the player he was, but he's still very good, and he's still better than Michael Carter.
And it gives Brees a chance to just ease into it.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So then you have the offense, which, Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback is it's just incredible, dude. Like I watch more of these dumb little friggin' videos about the Jets and Aaron Rodgers throwing a football than I probably watched in 10 years of Jets highlights.
I'm driving my girlfriend crazy with like the stupid Jake Asman videos every morning as we're leaving for work.
It's awesome. So you have that. So the expectations for the offense are really good. I mean, the offensive line to me is a concern. I'm worried about Becton. I'm worried about Dwayne Brown. You want some continuity. I think the most important thing is you want all 5 guys playing together for like last year they were patching up the last week of training camp. They were trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we just have to get into camp and see who performs. See if Becton, if his magic weight loss and strength training all worked, and how Dwayne's injury healed.
Dwayne can actually practice.
Yeah, and
that's the thing.
That training camp will tell a lot, and I think they're going to figure it out. And I think Rodgers being there, I think he also has the balls to say, "Hey, this guy's," they're going to listen to him. Where unfortunately Zach is like a kid. They're not going to, if he's saying something it doesn't mean as much as coming from a multi, MVP winner.
No, I think having Hackett in the building and Rodgers is going to make Saleh a better coach, like 100% a better coach, because everybody's going to be held accountable. Time management, game managers should be better. All that should be a more efficiently run team, where I think, having Saleh's biggest problem was all the inexperience on his staff, all these first-time coaches.
And I think now that the players know him, I think that they love Saleh. I think I grew up with a guy that coached with him in San Francisco, who's now the head coach at Boston College.
Okay.
And everything he said was like, the players are going to fall in love with him, and I think it's being proven, and I think they're going to fight for him, and it's going to be good.
It seems like Aaron Rodgers loves him, because when he gave him like a glowing review, like when Rodgers first came here, and it was all about his passion, his respect for his players, the open communication. Like it's not a one-way street. Everybody's a voice.
I love it. I love the videos when he's running the stairs before the games, which is like,
I didn't love it last year and they were losing. I got news for you.
I know, but he's
that Jaguars game, he didn't run upstairs, man.
yeah. That was the one game I was at. It was pretty rough, coming home sitting in there in the rain and the whatever. But he seems like a good guy. I want to root for the head coach like that. It's not the idiot they had before him, Gase or whatever, which was depressing from the beginning. And they put on him last one.
I mean, I like Saleh. I think he says all the right things. He's a great person. I think the team gravitates to him. He's a good leader. But now it's like his first year was a wash. We didn't care what he did. We expected him to lose. They did lose. Mm-hmm. Last year we had a glimpse of hope. Like, hey, we're going to win games, and they completely melted. And 2 big spots: the Jaguar game, and the Seattle game, pissed me off to no end. I hated that, and the way he handled Zach Wilson in the Patriot game, not taking him out when he was clearly worthless.
Yeah,
he can't do that this year.
But also that they lost that game on the final play.
Should never even gotten to that point.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't get me fired up about Saleh, man. But I just think he's in a position to do really big things, and he better do it, because anything less, if they go 9-8 this year, some days he's getting fired. Like with Aaron Rodgers here, you're not going to last.
You're probably right.
So, but I guess so. You're not going to give me your season prediction, right?
No, I'm going to say it's going to be very good. I'll message you. I don't want to.
Well, Jeff, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, and remember, everyone watching, if the writer's strike doesn't end, there won't be Hard Knocks.
There you go.
Or there's going to be the other. Let me just say the other thing. The writers are protesting at Amazon today because Prime Day, just to protest it. They will protest, like they give out free tickets to training camp. They'll be there and they'll be assholes. Like you don't want that. So we should really hope, if the writer's strike doesn't end, that they don't try and do it and have some scab writing the scripts, because you'll get people showing up causing trouble, and that's what they don't need. Yeah, no, I agree. Hopefully it gets resolved. Have a good night, man. Thank you. You too. Have a good one. All right, we have another celebrity joining the show now. This is interesting. Look at this. I go from
who's the celebrity?
Zack Rosenblatt to Afro. I mean, this is
celebrity here. Celebrity.
I was waiting for who's coming on for the celebrity. Oh man.
What's up, man? So wait,
Not
hold on.
much.
We got section 126, row 31. The 2-day ticket price is $525 each. They were like how was it? Like $350. Oh,
Armand's the man. Armand knows everything.
I gotta get. You know what it was? I was torn between going to Metallica or going to Canton for the Jets. You know, the whole Revis and Klecko thing. But I've already been to Canton. I was there for Curtis Martin, so I'm like, Metallica, MetLife, 2 days.
Probably cost you the same thing.
Yeah, but
because those rooms are going to be expensive.
It's true, very true. How you been, man? How you living?
I'm living, to say the least. I'm congested. My allergies or something. I'm just like I barely could hear, but I can hear. But I'm clogged up. I'm falling apart.
That's me.
But I'm still optimistic about the Jets.
So now we're about a week away. Hold on, what is this? Through thick and thin, let's talk Jay. Oh, thank you, David. I appreciate that, man.
That is true.
We got through the offseason, man. We're here. We got through this whole long offseason. We're a week away from camp. But the interesting thing with Zach that was talking about is this whole Quinnen thing. Like, I was confident that it was going to get done I still think so within next week because I think he will hold out. All right. Like,
it's the smart move.
I mean, you lose all your leverage going in the camp.
Yeah. Let's hope for the best. I hate for having something else hang over this team during training camp. Thank you, Armand.
I think it's just that you know the price range. Everything is there. If you're arguing about years, I mean, just get it resolved. It's a last distraction this team needs.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just it all comes down to negotiation. One is waiting to show their hand before the other guy. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Within the next week, you'll probably hear about Quan and Quinn within the next week, because Quan's probably waiting for any last minute offer. I mean, you think he wants to be there day one in camp. He doesn't want to wait.
You'd want to have your team fully there because August 23rd, you got to go from 90 to 85.
Yep.
August 30th, you got to go from 85 to 53. So there's nobody coming out being cut anytime. So you can't wait for who's getting cut. Everyone's going to save these guys for the last minute to see.
Yep.
I don't foresee teams letting guys go ahead of schedule.
Nope.
There's no reason for it, right? Because someone can get hurt, and if you have someone who can take their place on that before that you think we're going to cut, right? Because if you lose somebody, your next guy comes in, then you need someone to back up that guy. So you're not going to get rid of guys until you have to.
Now, could they be, since there was no OTAs? I mean, I'm sorry, mandatory minicamp. Could it be that, you know what, they said they want to see Sherwood and Nasruddin in training camp first under live action before they go out and get Quan? They say, hey, no, maybe they come in, could they be doing that?
Yeah, I mean, anything, you won't know until you're practicing and having scrimmages and playing against, other
I want
teams.
Quan in the building, man. To me, it's just, especially with Clark out now, it's like, it just seems like it just makes sense. And it's like you can literally double his salary from last year, and it does really nothing to your salary cap at all.
The thing is, he's not. He was at the Pittsburgh, and he did nothing signed. So I don't know what the issue is. I don't know. Is he holding up for a lot of money? Because
Connor said it too yesterday. Connor was saying last night, he's like, it wasn't like he had a good year last year. It wasn't like 15 teams reached out to him and said, we want Quan on our team. There really was no market, which is kind of surprising because how much?
I think they may see him as how the Jets see him. He comes in at certain times. He's not playing full time.
Right.
So, and that's how he lasted. And he came in and he was productive the same time. Same thing with Bryce Huff, right? You bring him at certain times, he's productive, Maybe they know that you can't play these guys full time because they'll wear out. Okay. Maybe they don't have that ability. Remember, Bryce Huff is smaller. He'll go up against bigger guys. Eventually that takes a toll on you,
Then you bring in Carl Lawson to maul.
Yeah. So who are we? I mean, we're just speculating.
What do you mean, who are we? We're
content
content creators, man. That's what we are.
You are truly the content creator. That is a fact.
You're my consultant.
Everything I do. Good, by the way. Look at that nice, bright, clear screen.
Look at this.
Look at that.
Does everybody know what you? So just for those that are watching this, are going to be listening to this tonight. Afram is my consultant. So whenever this shit hits the fan, I call and I panic. I'm like, Afram, you got to log in my computer, fix all my stuff.
That's okay. We got to keep the content going. I'm not a writer. I'm not going on strike, so let's not worry about that.
I'm going on strike. I'm just happy. I'm just happy this is over, man. It's this like the worst month is like the end of June through July because there is just
There's
nothing
absolutely
going
nothing, and baseball's stopped for a while with the All-Star break, and that's not going too well. I mean, my
Baseball's
Yankees
dead.
are looking like, yeah.
So now the one interesting thing that Connor said last night, and for those that didn't know, Connor Rogers was on last night for probably almost 40 minutes. He was awesome.
He was awesome. He was great.
So the one thing he mentioned was Jason Brownlee being like kind of a sleeper to make the team and probably could knock Denzel Mims off the spot, which would be interesting.
Yeah, I think there's this down on the kid. I think they'll look to trade him before they cut him at that point. And like anything else, they'll wait and see how long before this, through preseason. God forbid anyone gets hurt. At least then you still have Mims can come in as the sixth receiver or something to that effect.
I mean, Mims, this is if you can't flourish in Hackett's offense with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, that's so many red flags at that, man.
Yeah, but I think this whole thing about requesting a trade, I don't know if these guys hold grudges. It's tough to say,
All right, now we got some news here. Armand, tomorrow marks my 15th month weight loss journey. He's lost 166 pounds in 14 months. Holy shit, dude. That is incredible.
Look at his picture. He looks great. He looks like a barbarian on that picture.
Looks like a WWE fighter.
Yeah, he is, but it's not him. But it's
166 pounds. That's incredible, man. Congratulations. You should share what you did, man. That's just.
He's good for him. God bless him.
All right, so now that we're cutting, you say we're going to cut down Denzel Mims. That's what you said, right?
Most likely.
So, what are your thoughts? It looks like the Dalvin Cook price is going down day by day. It started out, there was a point, 2 weeks ago, it was $12 million a year, right? Yeah. He's got to get 12 million, 15 million, 10 million. Now it's down to 7. Yeah. I'm already comfortable with 7. Like, I'll pay the 7. You?
I think I think Douglas put out a price, said this is it.
What's your max would you pay?
It's not showing any anxiety to wait to get a running back right now. So.
But what would you? So just say $7 million gets it done. Would you do it?
If it's available, if none of that other money is going to Quinnen and Rodgers, yeah,
it's available, dude. You can.
You don't know yet.
Serious?
We have not.
We do know this. You've got that take, dude. Aaron Rodgers is going to restructure. You can restructure Aaron Rodgers.
How much of that is going to be towards this year?
Dude, do you see how the teams manipulate the cap every year?
I know.
This $6 million would be nothing for him. $7 million, I do it right now. Heartbeat.
What was I know he rejected the first offer by the Dolphins. What was the offer?
Well, see, he's smart to do that because now everybody's playing the leverage game. He's trying to get all these stories out there just to try to say, "Oh, I'm rejecting this. I want more. I want this." He's playing the media game pretty well, but the market's not. I mean, he's not going to get what he wants. So now it's a matter of, would you be for $1 million? You could be either going to us or the Dolphins. That could be what it comes down to.
Well, you go to us. The $1 million is the taxes you're going to be paying too. So and it's got to be more than that $1 million. I just don't want to be played for just to jack up his price with the Dolphins. I think Dolphins are going to hold true with their offer, and he's going to have to either wait out until somebody gets hurt, or he takes he agrees to a price.
I like Armand. Armand's asking you questions. Like, I'm not even here. I'm just basically the messenger. I'm just the host that asks the questions to the guests. So, Afram, expert, do you think Mims would get cut over Corey Davis if it came down to the two of them?
Yeah, it would have to. One has, Davis is, even though he's had issues, he's still proven more than Mims has.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. The only thing there between those two would be the contract because Davis makes a lot more money. That would be the only thing. But it seems like Aaron Rodgers likes Corey Davis. He's worked out with him. Veteran, leader, former captain of the team.
Yeah, there's been no talk about any issues with Corey Davis. So,
nope. Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
At that price for wide receiver, it's not a bad deal.
Yep. And the other position you look at, it's like we talked about, you want to get Quan back. The safety position to me still is one that everybody's like, don't worry about it. I mean, I'm still worried about it because, Amos isn't the player he was. Jordan Whitehead wasn't very good last year, and then you have Tony Adams, who's completely unproven. That's
well. I saw the thing with what's his name, Albrecht, with
Jeff Ulbrich.
Yeah, with Jets. What's that guy? One of the interviewers, and he said they asked him about the interceptions, the low interceptions. He says having Aaron Rodgers is going to give us more chances because their thought process will be playing ahead and forcing the other teams to pass more, so there'll be more chances. And that's probably the best answer you can get. I don't think there's nothing out there for them right now that they feel is any better than what they have. Otherwise, they would have made it, I think.
Yep. No, I mean
they got the other guy, Amos, immediately after when they.
No, Amos is good. He's solid. He's not a ball hawk though. Like
No.
you want those, and I get it. I understand. Like the last thing anybody's worried about is safeties. We're gonna have endless pass rushers. You have 2 great corners and 1 very good corner in Carter. So it's like you have a lot of good pieces, but that like the safety position is that one last piece. Like I want a stacked team. Like if you have the ability to upgrade a position, why not go out and get it? There's safeties out there now. Maybe they go get a guy in training camp, but I wouldn't put it. I still be aggressive with that.
But who would you go after right now?
You wait till training camp starts. I mean, you can go. The guy from Tennessee is going to be available. I mean, it's like he may be a cap casualty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Everyone thinks, but it hasn't happened.
Well, I think a lot of teams right now, they want to get their team in the training camp, and you want to get through the first couple of weeks because that's when all the injuries start happening, right? You don't want to get caught. Be like, oh, you know what? I had a surplus at this one position. 2 guys dropped. Now I need to go find somebody when you already have them in camp. So you try to keep everybody around for a little while, make sure you know what you have. So, and then we got a question for our special guest. Did you get new glasses?
No, these are the same old glasses. I could see in the future though.
So, you seen the future?
Yeah.
The Jets record is what?
14-3.
Staying with it, are you?
I'm staying with it. Why not?
Good for you.
Yeah.
So now, what will it take for us to? What will it take for us to get you to go to Las Vegas with us?
I don't know.
Come on, man.
Oh, come on. We'll see. I can't make any promises like that.
Can we get like, is there a glimmer of hope?
There's always a glimmer of hope. You always got to be positive. There's always got to be a glimmer of hope.
Have you bought an Aaron Rodgers jersey yet?
No, I have not. But then again, I don't buy any jerseys.
Dude, I was so tempted. Like a friend of mine, they're all selling jerseys now. Everybody's got these jerseys, right? He's like, it's like this nice white one. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. Because like I know the minute I buy that fucking jersey, he's getting hurt. Like it's gonna happen. Like I just, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I mean, my son has like several jerseys. He's got Dustin Color. He's got all guys that are no longer on the team.
Bro,
not like they're retired on the team.
Dude, I have Marcus May. I have Jamal Adams. I have it's a list of jerseys that like I
all
got
safeties.
Yeah, but I had them all like when they were all just like I have Sam Darnold. like I'm never gonna buy a jersey again because every time I do that, it's just terrible. What is
curse?
Am I staying at Circuit in Las Vegas with Jake? I heard Boomer and Gio talking about Circuit. He loves it there, so I haven't booked it yet. But I'm not opposed to anything, man. I just can't wait to go there.
What day is that? Is that the Friday game?
No, that's the Vegas game is in November. The Friday game's the Dolphin game.
Okay. Is that here or in Miami?
It's here. It's the Black Friday game.
The Black Friday game's here.
Yep.
Okay.
Which would be awesome with all the traffic and stuff.
3:00 game, too.
3:00 game. In the heat of a holiday weekend when everybody's out shopping.
Like the guy said, right next to the big mall that they put up.
It's so stupid.
Wonderful.
But yeah, great idea. So, all right, Afram, we're a week away from them reporting. What is your biggest story going into training camp?
The biggest story is the signing of Quinn and they got their whole team back.
Yep.
Okay. Because we know everyone else is there, and I think I'm looking forward to this team. I'm looking forward. It's going to be, I'm very excited. And you got a guy who's going to hopefully I know he's going to score some points for us and keep our defense off the field as much as possible. And they're going to be going after the opposing team quarterbacks And
see, my story is gonna be different. My story is how fast this offense can get in sync, and how long until Aaron Rodgers starts getting pissed off in practice and starts pointing fingers at people, be like, you know what, this offense, what the hell are we doing? Like, it's going to be a matter of time. But that's going to be.
I'm sure they all look up to him and follow his lead.
Yep.
You know?
But I just can't wait to see.
He's a leader right now. He's shown he's a true leader.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I've been impressed.
Yeah, he's come in fully invested. You know, it's not like he's there. He's going on vacation and coming in for training camp. He went that next day. He showed the whole team that he's leading by example, and that's how you lead.
No, I've been really impressed, man. 100% impressed by Aaron Rodgers and his attention to detail, how he interacts with all the players, offense, defense, special teams. He's in all the meeting rooms, the position rooms. For Armand, the biggest story for me is Becton's position and the O-line as a whole. Yeah. I agree. That is the whole Becton thing. Well, the first question is, Dwayne Brown, is he healthy enough to even practice? Because he's not practicing. Who's playing left tackle in practice? If they're going to have Becton over there, Becton's not practicing on the right side, that's already a problem.
Well, is Dwayne Brown still healing, or?
Yep.
It would be interesting to see if McGovern wins or loses the job.
Yep. Well, the interesting thing was those last few OTAs, they had Tippmann playing guard. So that's, you wonder, I'm sure they're going to give Tippmann every chance to win the job. They love his athleticism and everything else, but you want him to win it because he's your anchor for the next 4 or 5 years. But
sends a message to Lakeland too.
He better be better, man. Holy cow!
Right?
He can't be any worse than last year. Jesus.
They're pretty much telling him we weren't happy with what you did. So
yep.
No job is safe, which is it should be. No job should be safe. Unless you're Aaron Rodgers, and so that's there's a reason why you're on this team.
Yes, sir. I'm excited, man. We've made it.
Excited.
After we got it, we've gotten through the offseason. We've made it.
Yes, absolutely. Now, was it the 20th, right? That's a Thursday?
Next week. We're a week away.
And that's it.
The report
begins.
we eat some Taco Bell. I don't eat Taco Bell. I'm good. I'm healthy. Well, Afram, first of all, I want to thank you for all your technical support.
Anytime.
You are the IT guru of Let's Talk Jets. You're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've proven that.
Unfortunately, that is true.
I've got you at all hours.
Ways, yeah.
and you're going to be our chaperone in Las Vegas, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be, the chaperone. But to get you guys out of fights.
We don't fight, dude. We just drink a lot.
Out of stupors.
Get us out of the pool. We're almost drowning.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to save you.
That's right.
I'm the designated parent.
That's right. Afram, good talking to you, man.
Good, and thank you for bringing on. This is so great having all these guys come in and giving us their takes. Yesterday's was take with Connor. That was really a good interview. He's really good at what he does. He brings a lot of insight. Keep it up, man. It's going well.
No, I appreciate it. No, Connor was awesome, dude. I could talk to him for hours. He's like a pro's pro. That's why he's a rising star, man. He's made for ESPN. Yeah. Like he's gonna go all the way there.
I'm sure you're trying to get Connor used, but I think he's all.
I know, like I'm actually like I know Connor Hughes. I never really even asked him. I just figured he'd probably say no to me, so I didn't even bother.
You never know with this SNY deal what he's allowed to do or not. But he's been in other places, so give him a call. It would be good right before training camp to get him.
Yeah, well, that's
probably the easiest time for him before he heads up.
Maybe I'll try that Monday because Monday night we're gonna do. I think Gunny's coming on Monday. Then we'll try to just start cranking out like just preview stuff because we're here. We finally met. What's up, Jomo? How you doing, man? But thank you guys all for watching all the videos, all the streams, just trying to keep things interesting. And that's it. Monday night,
especially in a boring past month, everything's been great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Keeps us going, keeps that blood flowing, man.
And it was cool to see all the different content creators doing different stuff. Like I love all those guys, like Matt and Ryan and Green Bean. It's been fun, man.
I like the fact that we got so many of them always all about the Jets. So that's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And we could have Connor Hughes said yes to Joe Cat and Dan. I don't know, man.
That is true. He did come on to that show. So
I could ask him, I guess. I don't know.
You should bring him on. What the hell? What do you got
to ask him? Well, I'd love to bring him on. I mean, like I said, we got Zach on. I've seen it's like, but you know what the weird thing is? I think, well, actually, I like Connor Hughes the most. The only ones I would never ask Brian Costello. I would never ask Samini because I just
Yeah,
don't
you
like
don't
the
like
shit
him.
I don't. It'd be too fake. I'd ask like one question and I'd just be like, this is nonsense. I just go off on him. So
Exactly. Yeah, no, tell me. I already had Connor Rogers on. Yeah.
they know. Connor knows who I am. I've talked. We used
No,
to.
no, you could tell. Yeah, he's just telling me.
We
You
used to
got
be
to
on the
make. He
sidelines
says you
next
got to
to
make
him,
an
so we got
appearance
fam.
now.
That's right.
He says you have to make an appearance now. You have no choice.
That's right. We'll force him into it.
Exactly.
Adam, have a good night. Thanks again
You
for all your
too.
help, man.
Thank you. Anytime. Be well.
Later, dude. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back Monday night, 8 o'clock with Gunny. And I'll talk to you later. Get Manish. I did actually. I had Manish on like 4 years ago. We started the whole Manish thing. I'll talk to you guys later.